All right, welcome back everyone to the tutorials for the pressure system. What are we talking about today? We're talking about attributes, because when we talk about the key mechanic last time of the pressure die versus an attribute, let's quickly just talk about the attributes in play before we get into the other key mechanics of how play actually kind of looks. So what are the attributes? Well, there are 6 attributes, but they're not the 6 that you're thinking of. They're a little different. We have defender, striker, controller, leader, marksman, and power. Now, with these attributes, you're going to be putting dice into them. So when you're starting out, you might have, for instance, a lot of these attributes might be D4s. You might have a couple that are D6s. Let's put it on the 6 side, might as well. And then you might have one that's as high as a D8. The rest of them will be probably D4s. When you get more powerful, some of these might actually become D10s, but that's going to be really powerful. Now, what does this mean? This is the basic rules when you're creating a character. All of them are going to start at D4s. You're going to make a couple D6s, a couple D10s, or a couple D8s, and this is showing how good you are at these. But what do these mean? Well, if you're familiar with 4E, Dungeons & Dragons, they had these as roles, and you might look at something like Cortex Prime that actually has roles versus attributes. But I wanted these to really distinguish what is it that you're doing in combat at a given turn. If you are trying to attack someone in melee, if you're trying to do any of sort of like striking, attacking with a melee weapon of any sort, that is your striker die. That constitutes how good you are at that. If you are trying to defend yourself or defend others or defend friends, that's how much of a defender you are. Controller is how are you trying to affect the bad guys in any sort of way, trying to manipulate them in ways, move them, push them, pull them, etc. Leader is how much are you trying to manipulate your friends, not manipulate maybe, but help, benefits to your friends, boons, heals, those sort of things. Marksman is just, we're splitting up striker. If striker was all attacks in general, then it would be very powerful. Marksman is your ranged attacks, ranged any sort of damage attacks. And then power is going to come into play when you actually have spells and abilities of some sort, right? So this really defines when you're creating your character, how is that character going to be acting in combat and in scenarios as you're moving through the battlefield. And you can really flush out a character just by these attributes alone.